3,600 viewers right now in PSL F1.
No pressure. Oh, Mashiro has invited me. I'm not sure if he's away or back. I'll believe it.
Oh, he invited me. Unbelievable.
Early. Paco's got an invite.
I never get an invite from him, like I always get it from you. Probably because we didn't have each other on it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find.
No worries.
Okay, now we can talk trash about him.
He'll be back in 5 seconds, you watch.
Nah.
You will. He'll hear us. You watch.
Nah, just when he comes back, I'm gonna say, you know what, he's shy, you know, his graphics are terrible, blah blah blah. And then I'll say,
terrible.
oops.
Hang on.
He's trash, you know, I hate his graphics, he's terrible, you know. Honey Badger? Ah, I don't know him. Oh, sorry, sorry, didn't mean to. I'm sending you the link to my stream. Wait, I'm gonna first make it unlisted.
I'm really struggling about this pronunciation for tomorrow.
Don't worry, I have that issue every week.
FVR FVR underscore ISMXLBZ. How am I supposed to pronounce that? Max?
Don't worry, James.
Is that his name?
When you think about pronunciation, think that I only commented on English, so I have the same issue every week. Don't worry.
Oh, is it not Maxwell? Maxwell
You cannot do it worse than
Maxwell me. Or something.
I sent you the link.
Yeah, Marva's joined TF10 as well. He was part of one of the teams in EMO. Right. Mm-hmm.
You can delete everything. Wahahaha.
Just delete all the PSGL PC F1. George Morgan's gonna be pissed off.
I don't want to bring you down, mate. I have been having, well, can you say that? I have been having, access for a year now. Nah, but to be fair, I've taken some looks, and I remember like 1 year ago, and the evolution that they've had in viewers and stuff, it's just out of this world.
It's mad. I was saying to Paco before you joined, Tom, the last Esports Cup event, they got 50 live concurrent views at any one time.
Had 400 or 300, right? Oh yeah, from this year, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's insane.
Oh, I need to put an obligatory comment into the stream. Hang on.
Oh.
No worries.
Is it team info?
Yeah, we are live.
Actually, I'm surprised WSO it's not in it. Like they haven't decided like to sign up and stuff for the PSL thing. Well, actually, if it's only qualifying, I think viewers will be around 700, 800. I don't think we'll have more than that. If we do that, it would be surprising.
The biggest I've done is 300, so oh my god.
Well, the biggest I have had 100. Which for me it's insane because I did it like it was F9 in PSGL. Yeah. So that was surprising.
I think I was F13.
Okay. 1 minute, he said.
Oh, 1 minute. Yeah, F13 had like 30 odd viewers tonight as well for PS. And that's one of the lower tiers for the PlayStation platform.
To be fair, I'm...
Mad.
Alright. Just to finish, I'm really mad PSL doesn't help.
Oh, oh no.
F1 doesn't help PSL.
There might be an unfortunate sneeze coming. It's not.
Alright.
No worries. Oh, I'm on 30-second countdown now, so I'm not that far behind.
Why are people watching my stream? Don't watch my stream, watch their stream. Idiots.
10 seconds. Oh, I've got a tenth of a drink left. It must be an hour and a half. Lovely jubbly. Oh, I need to get Discord up. Ah, Luke does his Discord through commentary through Discord. Oh. Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to Ttml. We are here for F1 action. It is Season 5, Round 3 of the Championship as we take in the Spanish Grand Prix from the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. My name is James. I'm going to be taking to the stream, as always, on a Thursday night, and joining me in the commentary box, yes, he is back for his home race. It is Mr. Paco Suarez. Paco, how you doing?
Doing fine, mate. Only came back because, you know, it's Spain. No, but now talking seriously, really excited. In real life, it's not a good track to make overtakes, but hopefully in the game, you know, it will provide a really good show.
Yeah, I've commentated around Spain on this game, and trust me, the action picks up in the second half of the race as opposed to the first half of the race. We might see a big old DRS train, of course, there out on track. But to remind you, of course, what happened last week, and if you missed last week's action in Italy, let me remind you of the podiums. It was Tom who took his second win of the season, currently leading the championship, of course. Hazara in second, and Harry Banks finished in third. Looking at the standings coming into tonight here as well, Tom leads the way, however, he is not attending. He is ill tonight. We wish him well in his recovery. He leads, though, on 60 points. Harry Banks in second on 45, with Hazara in third on 39. Chris in fourth on 32, with Noisy in fifth on 29. Isotopic in sixth on 28. Break FN in seventh on 25, with Wedge and Perpetuum tied for 8th on 24, and Simply Superman running off the top 10 on 20 points. Then we have Mashiro on 15, Funky Chicken on 13, Kazizzle on 11, Tiago on 14th on 10, and Jorgen 15th on 9. Recon, Sionis, Volokonga, Mike, and Kill not yet scored any points so far this season. Hopefully they might pick up some points here tonight. But Paco, going from that driver's standings, you weren't here obviously last week. Tom took his second win, but Harry Banks and Hazara and the likes of Chris have got a big opportunity to gain with Tom not being here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when someone misses a race, you know, it's always a great opportunity, and that could be like really costly at the end of the season. So I hope they take the chance. I hope they get a really good result, because if they don't, they'll probably regret it for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you'd like to imagine so. They've got to try and take their chances as soon as they come, really. Harry Banks and Hazara are both here tonight within the lobby as well. So fantastic to have them, and hopefully they're going to be picking up big points to try and challenge Tom, of course, going in towards next week. Looking at the constructors' standings as well, Mercedes and Red Bull are actually tied for the lead in the championship on 70 points. McLaren there in third on 52, with Ferrari in fourth on 43, AlphaTauri in fifth on 39, Aston Martin sixth on 38, Alfa Romeo in seventh on 33, Alpine in 8th on 24, Williams in 9th on 15, and Haas, well, they're plumb last, and they've got absolutely no chance of picking up any points here. Non-Haas drivers actually here tonight, and they're on nil points, going, of course, out of the constructors. But Mercedes and Red Bull pretty much tied up in terms of the constructors, very close like in real life.
Yeah, exactly like in real life.
It is like real life. It is like real life. McLaren and Ferrari are in behind as well, third and fourth position. Yeah. So they're not too far off the pace.
Yeah, basically, you know, who would say that league racing is not realistic?
League Racing is realistic. That's what we'll have to try and see, of course, here at Ttml F1. And of course, if you are tuning in to the stream, welcome along. Myself and Paco, of course, going to be taking you through the action here tonight for Ttml F1. And a little bit of an announcement to make at the end of the stream about a future commentary tomorrow night, but that's all I'm going to say with regards to that. Looking, though, at the track map in question, of course, we are here at the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. However, not in Barcelona, nowhere near Barcelona, in fact. And looking then at the graphic for the track map, it is, of course, C3, C2 and C1 compound tyres, softs, mediums and hards, 18 minutes worth of qualifying, 4.6 kilometres, I should say, in length, 2.8 mile, 16 turns, in fact, awaiting these drivers out on track. 2 DRS zones, Paco, and you know this track quite well, of course. 1 DRS zone, of course, down the start-finish straight, the longest run down in towards turn 1, and then down in towards turn as well. Could be quite interesting in terms of overtaking.
It's not an easy track to overtake because, you know, it has many tight corners, you know, it doesn't have too many spots to overtake, but probably potential corners where you can see really good overtakes, turn 1, turn 4, even turn 10, I think it's a good option, you know, to make an overtake. So hopefully drivers, you know, will be able to progress in the race, make positions, and therefore good racing.
Yeah, well, let us get started, of course. Let us go into qualifying for the Spanish Grand Prix. Welcome along, everyone, to the Spanish Grand Prix, round 3 of the championship of season 5 of Ttml F1, as we take in the Spanish Grand Prix from the the circuit of Barcelona Catalonia circuit. 3 compound tyres, of course, awaiting the drivers out on track. Those are the soft, the mediums and the hards, the C3, C2 and C1 compound tyre, and of course the intermediates and the wet compound tyre might be needed as well as we transition, of course, in towards qualifying. Myself, James Head and Paco Suarez taking you through the action, of course, out on track. Let us have a look then at the track in question. The beautiful Circuit of Barcelona Catalonia. 4.6 kilometres, 2.8 miles, 16 turns awaiting the guys out on track. 2 DRS zones, 1 down the start-finish straight on the longest run down in towards turn 1 and 1 down in towards turn 10 as well. The unreprofiled corner, that is turn 10, of course, could be quite interesting in terms of overtaking, and we can't wait to bring in the action, of course, out on track as we transition straight out on track. And you can tell what you just saw there, softs, mediums and hards, nobody needs them, full wet conditions.
It's going to be tricky conditions, to be fair. Spain is already a tricky track, you know, with the curbs and stuff. So the third sector especially is going to be quite difficult for drivers. So will be interesting to see how they approach this session.
Yeah, what is the saying that normally goes here in Spain? The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane. I think that's exactly what we've got here tonight in qualifying.
Yeah, definitely. I love that quote, I have to say. Really good film, by the way. But yeah, probably with I don't know if it's gonna improve throughout the session. If it does, then it's gonna be good for drivers. But if it stays like this, definitely, it's gonna be quite difficult for them, and especially if this doesn't stay for the race. I mean, if the race is completely dry, this is going to be terrible because you're going to get used to a wet track, and then in the first lap it's going to be tricky as well for them, you know, in order to not miss braking points, you know, in order to not do silly stuff, you know. So let's see how it plays out, and let's see the weather in the race.
Yeah, let's run on board then with Perpetuum running down through turn 13 in towards 14 and 15. You can already see how much standing water there is on the track, nearly waterlogged in places, and now comes through the final corner. The German, the defending champion, of course, here in Ttml F1, about to set us off then on a lap around the 4.8 kilometre circuit of the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Running down then in towards turn number 1 goes Perpetuum, and we'll see in terms of his lap time what this is going to be. Of course, you should be expecting around the 113s and drives, probably in the sort of wet compound tyres around the 130s on track, as now comes through out of turn number 3 and then in towards turn 4, really aggressively fighting the car, nearly lost it actually on the exit of turn 3, now in towards turn 4, good first sector actually shown there from Perpetuum, and it's a 24 flat through the first sector on that set of wet compound tyres, matched though by Mashiro, 24.4, about 4 tenths off in terms of his first sector as well, and he of course is in the Williams in behind. But Perpetuum running now through the kink of 6 in towards turn 7 and 8, one of the fearsome chicanes out on track, and if you catch the curve there, you might end up spinning like we've seen so many times in Spain in the past, both in the dry and in the wet. Now coming through turn number 9, we're opening up, of course, no DRS zone, of course. I was about to say that he's going to open up the DRS, but he's not. Down towards turn number 10, the unprofiled corner, of course, of turn 10, not going to reprofile the corner in the game, out of turn 11, and now towards the highest point of the track, coming through in towards turn number 12, the right-hander, and then running down in towards turn 13 as well. It's a good lap from Perpetuum at this stage. It was a 32.5 through the middle sector. Mashiva was a 33 flat through the middle sector as well, so just comparing in terms of their lap times. Now out of turn 15 through turn 16, that is a lap of the Circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia. Perpetuum now runs the line, and it's a 1:26.9 to begin off the night, so even quicker than what I thought.
Yeah, if you're gonna ask me about the time we should be seeing in wets, better done, because I have no idea. So to start with, I think the lap looked quite clean, and we have several drivers finishing the laps, like the Alfa Romeo right now from Simply Superman. So here we should see a representative time.
Yeah, Superman, of course, coming around the final corner. 28 flat, actually lost a lot of time in that final sector by the looks of it. Kill goes second there as well. Of course, the teammate of Perpetuum, so it's an RP12. Better, though, by Harry Banks. He just goes into second as well. So Perpetuum's got the early time set, 26.9. That could be a very hard time to beat, looking by the guys of the lap times being set in so far. Isotopic there in second, 27.6. Harry Banks in third, 27.8. Nobody at the minute is close enough to try and catch Perpetuum. However, Kazizel in the middle sector is looking quick. 23.9 through the first sector, 33 flat through the middle sector. He might be picking up a task regulations penalty as well, looking at his name, but Kazizel now comes out of turn 13 in towards turns 14 and 15 out on track through the chicane, clips the curve very nicely indeed on the inside. You can run through the curve there on the inside, and now comes out of turn 16. Kazizel could trouble with Perpetuum here for pole position, and it's not second, 27.4, but Perpetuum's lap could take some beating.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, no one is close enough. Everyone is struggling to get close, as you say. And, well, it's only their first laps, you know. Getting used to a wet track, it gets time, you know, to get used to it. But I'm quite worried because 5/10 is a big gap, and Perpetuum for sure, he's going to improve as well. So we'll have to see if this is just a lap thing, you know, or if at the end of the session we'll see all the times, you know, closer.
Yeah, brief yellow flag in sector 2 and 3 there. I'm not sure if it was a car that lost it. I think it might have been just a car going slow.
Aston
maybe
Martin.
Perpetuum off his lap, maybe?
No, York. It was TTG_York went into the gravel.
Oh, I'm on board with him. How did I not spy that? I'm on board with him going through 10, 14 and 15. I honestly need my eyes testing, I think. Perpetuum though out of top, Kazizel in second, Isotopic in third. Yog's coming around the final corner. I think it's an invalid lap, this is. Yog now to the line, yeah, it's an invalid lap. Tiago, by the way, improved on his lap, 30.4. He set a banker, I think, of a 57, so a big improvement there, of course, by Tiago. But Perpetuum early out on top. Everyone looks like they're going 2 or 3 laps at least on this run. I'm not surprised, though. Yellow flag in sector 1.
Ferrari, yeah, it was crazy. Couldn't see what happened, but it seems like he lost it at the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, coming through turn 2, you catch on that curve coming through turn 2. It can really throw you off.
And Merckx round, it goes Thiago. Everyone is just struggling a lot. He lost it at the entry of turn 5, I believe that is. So he couldn't do anything really, and he's in the gravel right now.
Yeah, plenty of invalid lap times being picked up as well. Isotopic, who I'm on board with, 24 flat through the first sector, invalidated coming out of turn 8, I think. So he is invalid on this lap. Harry Banks is on the lap, 32.6 through the middle sector, and that is only a tenth of a second off Perpetuum's lap time. So this could be quite quick from Harry as he now comes through the final couple of corners, through turn 15 and then through turn 16, of course. Recently out of Leonis, and we come on to that, of course, as we cover tomorrow night's event for the PSGL and VRT Esports Cup. Yes, I did just say that on a TTML stream. Perpetuum though out on top, Kazizel in second, Harry Banks in third, and Harry set there 27.4, dropped a lot of time in that final sector at 30.8. It was not relevant compared to his previous final sector, which was quicker. So Harry has got a lot of time to improve on in that final sector.
Yeah, and look at that. Georg just crossed the finish line and he's up to 5th, so that's top 5 for him.
Isotopic, I think, spun into the wall in the background, just caught out in the background of shot. Right-hand end plate damage for Isotopic. There was a car going off to the right-hand side, and I briefly cut away because the camera cut away, and Isotopic has got right-side end plate damage, so I think he's been in the wall coming out of turn 3.
Yeah, although right now, I mean, there are so many drivers having issues, you know, and struggling for grip and losing the car, so really difficult, you know, to catch every spin.
Yeah, Mashiva just goes up to 7th as well, 27.9. 4 laps he's done on that set of wet compounder tyre. And you can see that the rain is really not relenting out on track. Of course, this set of wet compounder tyres disposes of 75 to 80 litres of water per second out on track. So you can imagine, with 14 cars being out on track, how much that will concede to you over a second and over a lap around here in Spain. But Mashiva, 4 laps on that set of wet compounder tyres. The likes of Kilda, the likes of Simply Superman, both on outlaps at this stage, they've only got 1 lap in, and you would imagine they're going to improve big time, as we saw Kazizel improve as well, 1,000th off Perpetuum.
Yeah, oh my god, really, really close, yeah. I mean, I didn't see it coming, to be fair, so it seems like finally he has a rival, and as we can see also, Georg getting really, really close, not as close as Kazizel. I think that's unbeatable, but Georg 2/10 off as well, so at the end of quali we might see several people fighting for pole.
Kilney Lusset coming out of turn 3 on board with him on his lap in the Alpine. Perpetuum though out on top, his teammate Kazizel in second, Jorg in third position. But yeah, quite a few lap times being set on multiple laps, and it looks like the rain is just beginning to relent. Certainly in the first sector, it's beginning to relent, it seems. So maybe a sort of intermediates might come towards the end of the session. It depends on how quick, of course, this track dries as Mashivo goes 4th.
3 thousandths off Georg, so really, really close fights between drivers.
Yeah, very close indeed. Kill coming through the end of the middle sector, and it was purple through the first sector, 23.8 through the first sector, 32.5 through the middle sector. Mashiva, by the way, set the fastest middle sector out of everyone, 32.486. Oh, as he nearly loses it, coming out of turn number 11, now through turn 12. The wide-out exit actually gives him the time back, I think, now coming down in towards 13. But that was a major moment from Kill. How much time has that actually cost him? He's got his teammate, I think, in front of him. Perpetuum now coming through the final corners. Harry Banks, maybe, I think, coming around the final corner, but Kill now around the final corner. Has he degraded that time away? Now runs the line on the Alpine, and he goes 6th, 27.4. Could have been a lot quicker than that. Kill, though, goes 6th position, ahead of Isotopic by 0.05 of a second.
Yeah, right now, I have to say from 3rd to actually, well, actually, I would say from 1st to actually 5th is quite close, and then we can see behind several drivers, you know, close between each other. But it's true that the guys that are at the back are really, really slow at the moment. So hopefully by the end of the session, they'll be able to catch up a little bit.
Yeah, and of course, if you do want to show your support for your favourite drivers, of course, use it in the comment section. We are, of course, live on YouTube to cover all the action that is unfolding. If you're on Paco's stream, because we are doing replay cams, come over here. TTML F1, Big Racing TV, Thursday night, a little bit of free promotion. Come and subscribe while you're at it as well. Perpetuum though leading, Kazizel second, Harry Banks in third. And Harry Banks actually, through the middle sector, 32.6. So he's relatively good in that middle sector. Looks like he's got to be improving on this lap time. Could try and trouble Kazizel and Perpetuum at 6.5 minutes to go. Let's see what the Red Bull can do. They're out of the final corner, now running toward the line. And the Red Bull now catches on the curb. Nice though. Comes to the line, goes quickest, 26.7. And Harry Banks, that middle sector was crucial on that lap time. Before that, it was a 32.8 through the middle sector, 32.6 this time around, and he goes pole for now.
Yeah, so 2 tenths, that's the gap. It seemed like no one was going to be able to beat Perpetuum at the start, but right now he has a rival. A rival has come out of nowhere, so we'll have to see if he's able, to respond with a really good lap, or if otherwise he cracks under pressure.
Yeah, Tiago just caught the end of his lap there as well. The Portuguese man goes 10, so 27.9 from him. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. Think that is somebody just coming at the pit lane. And there's a yellow flag in sector 2 as well. And that might be just somebody going slow or maybe an out lap. Oh, there's been a spinner, I think.
Well, I haven't caught it. What I've been seeing is Superman. And simply Superman. It's just, I don't know how to say it. I think the setup is completely wrong because in each corner he's struggling with the car. I mean, he's fighting, to keep that car on track, and he doesn't stop having he doesn't stop losing the back end. So really difficult session for him. He's not even improving, I think. So really struggling to put a good time.
Yeah, he's 7 tenths down in that middle sector, so clearly he made some sort of big error, which I think we caught coming out of turn 6 and 7, where he caught that. So simply Superman doesn't look like he's going to improve. And and see what you mentioned about the setup. It looks like he might have a dry setup on compared to a wet setup. He's certainly coming into the pit lane compared to that. And that's what we've seen, I think, with drivers. Have they got dry setups on a wet track? And that is how the downforce comes into play as well, because it is quite a low downforce circuit, this Spain. And if you have a very high downforce setup, like you do in, say, the dry conditions, it really does affect the car's handling.
Yeah, definitely. And I just caught Funky Chicken, or however you want to pronounce it. He spun at the exit of, actually at the entry of turn 11, I would say. So he touched the curb too much and he lost it. So, yeah. Both Alfa Romeos almost at the bottom of the leaderboard, and it doesn't seem like they can get out of there.
Yeah, just catching the replay. Yeah, he just oversped it, I think, on the throttle coming out of turn 10 in towards turn 11, and that's what we saw there with that. But Break FN is on a good lap here in the Red Bull. Coming out the final corner, he nearly creates his own track limits. Coming out the final corner, nearly crashes into the wall. And how on earth has he recovered that? He doesn't improve. But my God, that must be one of the best saves I think I've seen in the wet.
It has been insane, to be fair. I mean, when you said he wasn't a good lap and suddenly he goes over the grass, in the final corner, I was like, no, he's not.
He's definitely not on a good lap, and he definitely won't be improving. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if he tries to get another lap in. Perpetuum, by the way, just picking on board with him. 3 minutes ago in the session, Harry Banks in top, Perpetuum second, Kazizel in third, and Perpetuum, purple middle sector out of everyone, 32.3 through the middle sector, and that is up on his 32.5 that he set last lap around. So he's going to be trying to challenge Harry Banks, but Harry Banks has got more running in. York, by the way, goes second on his first lap on a fresh set of wet. Goes second with a 26.7 and a good improvement, I think, from Mashiro there as well. He's up into sixth. Isotopic there in fifth as well. But Perpetuum at the final corner. Can he try and trouble Harry Banks out of the final corner? Now runs toward the line, and he does, and it's a 26.5. The German out on top by nearly 0.2 of a second.
I was on board with Kazizel. He crossed the first sector but just invalidated it, so he will have another attempt if he has enough fuel, of course. I think he can do it because on the first sector he was actually improving his time, so I think he will be a contender for pole. So right now I'm on board with McLaren. I don't know if you're with him or with who?
No, I'm on board with Chris. He's purple in the first sector.
All right, yeah.
You can continue on with Isotopic if you want.
No, I was about to say that his first sector looked quite good. He's now on to his second at the exit of turn 9 going into turn 10 now. And actually he's improving marginally, so he could get just in front of Kazizel maybe.
Yeah, Isotopic, I'll pick him on board. I think he's coming through the final sector. Yeah, he's coming through turn 12 and 13, and actually, Chris is just in front of him. So Chris actually is in front of him, so we'll take on board with Chris's lap. 29.3, currently his personal best. 23.8, 32.5 through the first and middle sector. Let's see what the German can do. Now, coming out of the final corner, TTG Chris runs to the line. Will he go pole? No, he goes 7, 27.2, lost a lot of time. Isotopic, by the way, went 4th.
Yeah, yes, as I said, he could get him just in front of Kazizel, which he's on a lap right now. He's about to cross the end of the first sector, and we'll be able to see if he's improving or not. Yeah, 1/10. He goes purple. So watch out with a Ferrari because he could get pole.
Yeah, 200's quicker than Kill coming through the first sector, and I'm right on board with Kill to compare the laps. He's now coming out of turn 8. I don't know who's just improved. Hazara's just improved up to 5th position with a 26.0. Again, so many improvements I can't keep up. Kill though coming through the middle sector. I'm trying to see what his middle sector actually is. He is 34.5, so actually I think he's backed up on this lap.
And Casizo with a 56.1, that's 4/10 faster than his best, his personal best. So right now he could be on pole. He's right now going onto turn 12, if I'm not mistaken. Now going into this final part of the third sector, which is for me the most difficult part in the whole calendar. He almost loses the back end of the car, trying to control it, goes over the curb, trying to have the best exit as possible. Now onto the final corner. I think he could get pole, but it was a really tricky lap as he gets a 1:26.7. No, he doesn't. That last sector costed him pole, pretty sure.
Yeah, Jorgen improving. It was that sausage curb, I think, that cost him. He just lost it a little bit. Break FN and Chris have both crashed coming through on their laps as well. So Chris is out of the session. Break FN out of the session as well. Not sure if they've retired in the pit lane. Hazara's on a lap, however, looking good coming through the middle sector, 33.3. And in fact, he's actually not on a lap. So we'll cut to Isotopic, runs the line. He does slightly improve on his lap time. Jorg there in Jorgen fourth, sorry. Harry Banks, by the way, through the first sector, 23.9. So he's relatively on Perpetuum's lap time, but Perpetuum was purple out of everyone in the middle sector. And let's pick him aboard with the German now, coming in towards the final couple of corners. We're right on board with him. That curve was taking a little bit slow for my liking. I don't think Perpetuum might even improve on his own lap as a result. Comes out now through the final corner. The German now runs the line. And he doesn't improve. He invalidated, I think, on that lap. What is Harry Banks doing now? 32.4
really
through the middle sector. And this is looking like a very good lap. Kill as well, also on a lap time. I don't think he's actually on a physical lap. He's invalidated. So it's only Harry Banks that can nick pole position from Perpetuum. And he needs to put the fight to Tom going in towards tonight, of course, in Spain. Harry Banks, though, coming out through the final couple of corners, really fighting the car aggressively. Out of the final corner he comes. Is it enough to try and pole? No, he doesn't even improve. Perpetuum's on pole position, Kazizel in second, and Harry Banks is in third. Great into qualifying.
Such a shame because Harry Banks, you know, that first sector was really, really solid, was really, really good. The second sector, not as good, but he still did it quite well. But that last sector, you know, he didn't even go over the curb, you know, on the penultimate corner, which I think it cost him a lot in the exit. So, yeah, really solid pole by Perpetuum, which in the end he got the best lap.
Yeah, he did get the best lap. Indeed, it is Perpetuum out on top at 26.5 from Kazizel in second. A 10.5 improvement, in fact, on his lap time was Kazizel, and he was a 10.5 down in the end, I should say. Harry Banks 11.30, Jorgen 4th, Isotopic 5th, Hazara 6th, Mashiro, Noisy, Chris, Funky Chicken ran off the top 10, Kill in 11th, Thiago in 12th, Break in 13th, and Simply Superman rounding off the 14 drivers, ending off a very wet and soggy qualifying session here in Spain. And of course, we transition to the action very shortly indeed, out on track, and hopefully it is going to be a fantastic race, of course. But let's just delve into that qualifying session in a bit more detail, Paco. Of course, Perpetuum out on top, Kazizel second, Harry Banks in third. What will this do in the race with 3 out of the top 4 drivers, I would say, in this league? Relatively good in terms of the pace.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, the quali we saw was quite unusual for the fact that at the start, you know, it seemed like quite uneven. But as the session went through, you know, we could see that everyone was improving massively. And by the end, I think that what we saw basically was that the one that was taking it like more easy, you know, without like risking that much, in the end put the lap all together. So I think for the race it's gonna be insane to see everyone fighting, you know, so close, because the pace looks on wets, it looked like they were quite close. Let's see how it's in dries, because it's gonna be a complete different situation.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole different kettle of fish, I think, out on track, and that is an expression I do not use very lightly indeed, and I've literally might have just came up with that in the last 5 seconds. But in terms of the on-track action, I think this is going to be quite fascinating. We've got the defending champion out on top, Perpetuum. Kazizel's there in second, already, of course, a podium finisher, I should say, this season. Harry Banks there in third as well. Jorgen fourth. It is going to be quite fascinating, of course, and of course, compared to the wet competitors that everyone was on, Everyone now on that set of dry compound of tyre, and that is going to be absolutely crucial to see what is going to be happening in terms of the strategy. And in terms of the strategy, it is very, very weird indeed. Perpetuum, Harry Banks, Hazara, Tiago, and Simply Superman all on the set of hard compound tyres. Kazizzle, York, Isotopic, Noisy, Chris, Funky Chicken, Kill, and Break all on a set of mediums. Mashiro's going Lone Goose on a set of soft compound tyre.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I mean, it's a bit weird because here in Spain, the soft is definitely not the tire to go with. But I'm intrigued to see if he's maybe going on a probably he will on a two-stop. But what's the idea behind it? I'm not sure at all.
I don't know, to be honest. It could be the case where there could be rain maybe later on in the race, possibly. And he's going and he's trying to transition, because you know Jeff on this game, he likes to try and mess up everyone's strategies. But on that sort of soft compound time, Mashiro can do some damage off the start. Everyone around him on that sort of mediums, on that sort of hard compound tyres as well, could be quite fascinating in terms of what we see in terms of the on-track action. But as the final car's now around the final corner, Paco, I am going to come across to you, and it's very rare that I come across to you at the start of this season. Who's your top three?
Thank you. I'm gonna say Harry Banks because I think he has a better pace than anyone else. I'm gonna put Perpetuum in second and Isotopic in third.
Very interesting indeed. And do you know what? I'm going to make a prediction, mate, as well, for the sake of it. I think Harry Banks is going to win this race. He is a king of the hard compound tyres around here. I'm going to go Kazizzle second, and I'm going to go Mashiro third. I think Mashiro could have a really good chance there from 7th position on that set of soft compound tyres. We are just moments away, though, from the Spanish Grand Prix beginning very soon indeed. The 5 red lights are now going to come on in the gantry, and here they come. The 5 red lights are now on here in Spain. Long haul, Kazizzle and Isotopic have jumped the start, but it's lights out and away we go. Both of them jump the start off the line, and Liz Kazizzle, who leads the way down in towards turn number 1. A misjudgment in terms of the start, maybe the lights glitching there for both of them, but who knows. Perpetuum pretty much leading them down in towards turn 1 in 3rd position at the minute, but because everyone's got a drive-through penalty in front of him, he currently leads the way. York there in 4th, Harry Banks in 5th, Mashiro's made a good start as well. He's already gone through on Chris. Break FN has dropped down a couple of positions, I believe, further down. Kill looks to the inside line on Chris, tries to get the move done, but Chris is right on the back of Mashiro, coming now in towards turn 5 for the first time, and now it's side by side. The Ferrari dives it down the inside of the Williams, and the Williams is very, very hard to try and defend, and Mashiro does defend the position well, and he stays in 6th position. Kazizzle leads with that drive-through penalty. Isotopic in 2nd with that drive-through penalty. In 3rd is Perpetuum. Very clean start, barring those drive-through penalties picked up by the jump starts.
Yeah, definitely, and probably the McLaren just had that penalty as well because of the Ferrari.
Oh, Break FN was diving down the inside line. I think we saw a move by Mashiro on Harry Banks, so that is crucial. Mashiro's already through and he's into 5th position. Just look at the pace he's got on that sort of soft compound tyre. A little bit of squirreling in the background. I think Noisy, made a mistake coming out of turn 12 and 13. Just caught the little bit of a sideways Aston Martin. Isotopic is into the pit lane from the lead of the race, and Break FN and Noisy have had a collision further down the field in towards turn 16, in fact, through the final corner. Break has broken his front wing. Noisy is not into the pit lane. Break is into the pit lane. It is Perpetuum, though, who does lead. Jorgen second. Actually, no, it's Kazizzle that leads. Perpetuum's in second. Jorgen third. We've got a graphic switch to the left-hand side.
Yeah, definitely. I'm completely lost as well, trying to figure everything out. But yeah, it seems like slowly it's going to get everything, to its respective place.
Yeah, Simply Superman, by the way, has got 20% from wing damage on the front right end plate. Not visible to us, certainly visible on the task system. 20% damage for Simply Superman, running in 9th position currently, out on track, with, of course, Break and Tiago still to come out of the pit lane. Mashiro, though, on the back of York, 2 tenths away from the back of the Aston Martin, and the Alpine doing well as well, Perpetuum, but Kazizzle leads the way, and if it wasn't for that jump start, he might have just got the run down and towards turn 1, and he might already be 1.7 seconds ahead like he is at the minute, but Kazizzle leads the way. Perpetuum in 2nd, Jorgen 3rd, Mashiro in 4th, Harry Banks there in 5th, he's defending off Chris in 6th, Kill in 7th, with Zara in 8th, Simply Superman in 9th, Noisy in 10th, Isotopic, Funky Chicken, Tiago and Break 13th and 14th. Kazizel still not coming into the pit lane. He's got one more lap to try and serve that drive-through penalties. Mashiro is right on the back of Jorg, and we might see possibly one of our first broadcasters overtakes, and in fact goes so slow in fact does Jorg, and Mashiro is through and he's into P3.
Yeah, Mashiro with that soft tire, you know, he's doing what he needs to do, push and push, and yeah, he has to make the overtakes in order to not lose time.
Yeah, good move, and Mashiro's now up to 3rd position. The graphics still glitching off to the left-hand side. Simply Superman, by the way, in for that front wing change on his right side end plate. So he's going to be behind maybe Tiago.
The Alpine, sorry, the Alpine behind Chris. He almost missed the braking and he hits Chris. I don't know if he got damage from that, but it was a really big hit from behind.
Yep, no damage in terms of the action out on track for Kill. He's down there in 7th position, so I think it was just maybe a rear ending, as we like to say. Yeah. But luckily no front wing damage on the car, no floor damage and no diffuser damage either, and no side pod damage. They're new additions to the SAS system, which is fantastic. Mashiro, though, trying to apply a bit of pressure to Perpetuum. This is currently for the lead of the race, because Kazizel, of course, has still got to come into the pit lane to serve that drive-through penalty. He now comes into the pit lane to serve that drive-through penalty. DRS, of course, is enabled this lap, and Mashiro was up for this one. Right on the back of Perpetuum, looking towards the inside line. This is the easiest move you're going to see all night. Look at the closing speed of Mashiro. He is through, and he's into the lead of the race. No hanging about from the former TTL F2 champion. Mashiro is through, and he's into the lead of the race.
Yeah, now he has to push as long as the tire holds on, as we see yellow flags in sector 3, which Funky is yeah, Funky Chicken. And the Alpine behind Kill, I mean, it seems like he has more pace than the guys in front, but the straight line speed is not good enough to actually challenge, you know, into the corner. So we'll have to see how he tries to make the overtake, but he doesn't have it easy.
Yeah, to be honest, they're all engrossed in this big DRS train. I mean, nobody is free of each other at the minute. Mashiro still leads the way for Perpetuum in 2nd. Kazizel, by the way, is spun coming through the middle sector. Not sure where that is. That's coming out of turn 4, I think. So Kazizel is spun. Not sure if he's picked up any damage. I'll check the TAS system in a minute as Chris is on the back of Harry Banks. Looks to try and go down the inside line. Not quite enough. Hill is on the back as well, but Mashiro leading the way from Perpetuum in 2nd. Jorgen 3rd with Harry Banks in 4th. Chris in 5th and Kill in 6th position. And Funky Chicken, by the way, did have left side end plate damage, so he's back into the pit lane to repair his front wing. Perpetuum is still trying to apply a little bit of pressure, still trying to stay within that second gap, but it looks like Chris might try and get the move done on Harry Banks running down in towards turn 1.
Yeah, it could be a really, really good chance, but it doesn't seem like he has the straight line speed to do it.
No, he doesn't. He's still within that DRS train, and Jorg is pretty much leading that. So it is a 4-car DRS train, and it's not like what I saw in League of Europe around here a couple of weeks ago, where pretty much first down to 16th position, I think, were all covered within a DRS train at some points in the race. So, with that being said, it is not as difficult as what it would be if there were more cars stuck in this DRS train. But if these guys battle, if Jorg holds these guys up, Hazara's only 4 seconds behind. And 4 seconds around a track like Spain is very, very easy to try and get in to that gap, because if he's got the tyres and if he's got the pace, he'll certainly close.
Yeah, definitely. But right now, at the moment, it seems like everyone is awaiting. You know, they don't feel like trying the overtake here. Like, for example, the Ferrari here, Chris, despite having better tyre, seems really, really close in every corner to Harry Banks, but then when he gets to the straight, no possibility of overtaking. And I feel bad for him and the medium runners behind, because, yeah, look at that. He lost a lot of time.
Oh, and Kill's gone into the back of him. Chris loses it out of the final corner. We rolled on board with Kill there, and now Kill's going to try and get this move done down in towards turn 1. It is going to be side by side actually in towards turn 1. Chris is still alongside. Battle of the ERS, battle of the DRS, and it's Kill down the inside line. Gets the move done in the Alpine. Chris, though, very, very sketchy. Looks like he's got a very big low downforce setup on that car. Maybe too low of a downforce setup on that car. Chris, luckily, though, no damage picked up, I can report. But Kill is through and he's into 5th position as a result of the mistake from the Ferrari.
Yeah, so that's position lost. He couldn't overtake Harry Banks, and when you don't take your chances, that's what happens. You lose a chance, and even you lose more than the chance. So Chris will now have, you know, to recover that place and to regain that place and to see if he can gain his confidence back. But at the moment, as you said, it didn't look good, and Yep, that's noisy.
That is noisy, that is round coming through. I thought it was Kazizel at first. I don't know why I thought it was Kazizel. And it's a VSC. VSC deployed. It looks like Noisy's got no front wing on that car. I'll just confirm that. Yeah, no front wing on the car. Could easily deploy it up to a full safety car, of course, if the settings are right, and should be, because Noisy has lost that front wing. The stewards might think it is worthy enough to deploy a full safety car. Mashiro, however, though, is in, and I don't blame him. I was looking at his tyres there. 42% on that left front tyre. The left front is the one that takes the hit around here, but essentially he's got a free pit stop over everyone else if there is to be another safety car. But it doesn't look like he is. He's actually timed this pretty well. Andres on the hards. Are they getting to the end of the race, Paco?
26 laps. It's really, really difficult. I don't think he's gonna make it, but I think it's an interesting strategy because I think he was waiting. Oh, did he retire in the pits?
It's under the pit lane.
We'll see
Thiago's
now.
coming in as well. Yeah, that must be in the pit lane. I can't see him coming out of the final corner. And yeah, Kazizel has retired in the pit lane, left the session. And unfortunately, that's the second time he's actually done that in a league race this week. And I hate to bite the bullet and hate to bite on about it, but it is disappointing, I think, if drivers do retire when they are still within good setting of points. Perfection, though, out on top. It's Jorgen second, Harry Banks in third. We are back under green flag racing. Isotopic, by the way, on the back of Mashiro. Mashiro rejoined in 7th position. He's on a set of hard compound tyres. Isotopic on that set of mediums. He's going to be going just before the halfway stage, I think, onto a set of hard compound tyres for second stint. But what can Isotopic do to try and stay with Mashiro?
Yes, I mean, right now Mashiro, probably he's going to do a 2-stop, and probably he doesn't mind about taking care of the tires, so he's probably going to try and push. So it's going to be an interesting strategy by Mashiro. So we'll have to keep an eye on that gap he has to Hazara and to the rest of the grid in front of him, and see if by the end of the race he's close to... Oh, when the Alpine is gone!
The one moment I look away from my iPad, the one moment I look away from my iPad, he spins. Kill his round, coming out of turn 2, and it looked like he basically just lost it by himself on the curb.
Yeah, it looked like that. I mean, it was like that. He just took too much curb and applied too much throttle, and when you do that, you combine both, that cannot end well.
Yeah, a bit like me in time trial, I think, around here, spinning quite a lot. Perpetuum, though, out in front, but Perpetuum's just made a massive mistake. Couldn't on board right with that, and Perpetuum's made a massive mistake out of turn 9 for the lead of the race, and now Jorg is within striking distance to try and get the lead of the race back from the German in front of him, from the defending champion, of course, of Ttml F1 of Season 4 last season. Now in Season 5, of course, but Perpetuum leading the way. Jorgen second. But now Perpetuum's got back up to speed. He's got back into that rhythm. Look at the gap he's pulled at. He's pulled that 8/10 of a second on Jorg. He's gained 4/10 after that mistake alone.
Yeah, and not only that, but he has given the chance, to have DRS to basically, control a little bit the race, and with better tires, because at the moment the mediums, I think they still work better than the hards. I think it's going to be quite challenging for the Alpine, to keep the position.
Yeah, they do indeed, and it's fantastic, of course, the action's still going on out on track. I've got to give us a shout-out. A super chat has came in. €10 super chat for my co-commentator, Mr. Paco Suarez. Thank you very much, Paco.
You're welcome.
And of course, hopefully, it is great to see, of course, the on-track action still going on, and I'm just returning into the Chevrolet. You can probably see a little bit of a screen going on at the minute, but we are getting back to the live action now. Still Perpetuum out in front, Jorg there in second, and then behind him, of course, is the Red Bull and the Ferrari, of course, of Chris, just in behind as well. But leading the way, Perpetuum leading the way from Jorgen second. Thiago's just picked up a 3-second time for the out on track. And that's along with Kill's 3-second penalty they picked up last lap around as well. But Perpetuum leads, Jorgen second. Harry Banks was the Red Bull, by the way, I was referring to. He's in third position. Chris is there in fourth, with Zara in fifth. Zara's losing time compared to these guys. The DRS train really in full effect. Jorg closing in on Perpetuum. Don't think the Dutchman, though, is going to get the back of the German down in towards turn 1. I think, to be honest, Jorg, his tyres are going to be more worn than Perpetuum's at this stage, and he's just got to try and wait his turn, maybe force Perpetuum into a mistake coming out of turn 9 again.
Yeah, Yeah, basically, but I think here we have a really interesting race because York will pit earlier, of course, because he's gonna put hats, while Perpetuum will stay late, and that's gonna allow York to do an undercut. And I think the race is gonna be at the end of the race. I don't think we're gonna see any overtakes here. I think the main battle, if York doesn't do anything strange, we're gonna see it at the end of the race. So, I think it's intriguing, you know, to say at least. How the drivers are gonna progress, you know, with their strategy and how they're gonna play out at the end of the race.
Yeah, Isotopic, by the way, is keeping with Mashiro. Mashiro was not gaining time whatsoever on kill. In fact, I think he's lost time compared to the Alpine in front. And the Williams is really struggling, I think, in terms of the hards. The hards really don't pick up in terms of the tyre wear until about 9 or 10 laps into their stint. So they're only going to be coming good at that point, and that's around lap 18, lap 19 we're going to be talking about. So Mashiro's really got to try and hammer home this advantage to try and break Isotopic in behind him and then try and get onto the back of Kill. York again on the back of Profession for the lead of the race, not quite close enough, down in towards turn number 1. Of course, more action is going live, by the way. F2 and F3 are also alongside us, running sequentially, I should say. F2 has got a safety car at the minute. 19 drivers still going around. It was Sway who called the safety car as a result. So if you want to go and tune in for that, you can. If you want to stay here and listen to the GOAT commentary team that is commentating on a PSGL and a VRT Esports Cup event tomorrow, stay with us. We're a third of the way through the race.
And looking at Mashiro right now, who is currently in 7th place, he hasn't really been that fast. I mean, the McLaren has stayed behind this whole time, but I'm not sure about his strategy. I mean, I'm not sure if he's gonna try to keep it at the end. I think this race is exciting for different reasons. One of them is that we have an exciting battle ahead. You know, everyone going for a different strategy with the tires. Some doing an undercut and others an uppercut. And then we have Mashiro behind, who we don't know if he's gonna stay till the end.
Yeah, the more that Mashiro, by the way, so out of that DRS train, he's 1.6x now to kill. He's getting 0.2 of a second that last lap around. But look at the guys in front. They're in that DRS train. They are getting DRS every single lap, and the gap to Hazara was 4.5 seconds a few laps ago. It's now 7.5 seconds.
Exactly.
So they've gained 3 seconds as a result of this train. Isotopic is closing on Mashiro down in towards turn number 1, by the way, but doesn't get the move done and is not close enough to the back of Mashiro. But very interesting. The gap to the leader, by the way, from Mashiro is 15 seconds. That's enough for him to get out in front quite comfortably. But what we're going to be talking about is, what do these guys do? Do these guys go onto that sort of soft compound tyre that will suit them so well later on in the race? Certainly for Perpetuum and Harry Banks and Hazara, I think they will. But Jorg and Chris, what do they do? Because they're going to be stuck in a bit of no man's land in terms of the strategy.
Yeah, the thing is, when you're alone, you know, on track, or when you don't have no one to follow, probably it makes you lack concentration, you know, and maybe don't go like at your maximum pace. But I think overall, yellow flags. That's
Kill.
Kill.
Oh, and he spun again. Coming through. I think that is turn 12, 11. If I'm guessing. No, I'm right. It is turn 12, and he spins again, coming out of turn 12. It was very difficult, by the way, because it was just showing the floor of the car for me, and that was quite weird. But coming out of turn 12, Kill has spun twice, 3 times in fact, and he's into the pit lane. Those mediums look very, very overheated indeed.
Yeah, and the only chance, you know, for the Williams, you know, to get some DRS, you know, maybe catch back. Yeah, to be fair, I don't get why they retired. There's still points, you know, into play. I know maybe we don't have a full grid, but man, I mean, you still have really high chances, you know, to get some good points and maybe be alive, you know, in the standings. But well, I guess it's go on.
Yeah, I was just gonna jump in. P14 picks up 6 points. Exactly. So these guys are guaranteed a minimum of 6 points out on track. Who wouldn't want 6 points over no points?
Exactly. I don't know. Retiring, it's something I won't ever comprehend, you know. I always, when I drive, as a driver I am, despite maybe I'm not the fastest or maybe I don't have the race I would like to, I always fight till the end. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know if a safety car could come out or what circumstances, you know, you're gonna encounter. So a little bit disappointing, you know, the attitude from these two drivers.
Oh, Chris has got the curb coming out of turn 3, and I thought he nearly sent the car into a spin. Luckily he hasn't. He got the curb completely wrong coming out of turn 2, flung the car wide pretty much in towards turn number 3, certainly nearly into the gravel, in fact, between 2 and 3. But Chris, very lucky boy, he has lost that DRS train though, so that DRS train now becomes 3, and I think now, we saw the pit window graphic, I should say, come up on the right-hand side, that 14 to 16, going on to a set of soft compound tyre. Cody's must be absolutely mad if they're going to make it to the end on the set of softs.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and he lifts the session. Yeah, right now, I prefer not to think, you know, on strategies and stuff, because I think it's a bit messy right now.
Yeah, comment, by the way, who's Maze, of course, in the comment section. He totally agrees with what we're saying in terms of regards. York, by the way, is just picking up a 3-second penalty. But a minimum of 6 points out on track. Some leagues don't even offer 6 points for 14th position.
Exactly.
Many leagues don't. And that is what is going to be the case. York, by the way, is on the back of Spectrum, running down in towards turn 1. Again, not close enough, just biding his time. But those mediums, I think, look relatively fresh compared to Chris's. Chris's, of course, is losing time out of the DRS. But Jorg is keeping up with Perpetuum, keeping on with the pace, and he's looking very similar in terms of the pace as well. And the gap to the leader, by the way, do you know how I said it was 14.5 seconds? It's now nearly 16 seconds, the gap. So these guys, the further they go on out on track, the more chance they might have to try and complete an overcut.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah, because they have a superior pace. It seems like Mashiro, it's not having the best day with the hearts, but I still think that they're not gonna get like the overcut. Probably they will be 4 or 5 seconds behind, because I think the time you lose on the pits, it's around 21 seconds in Spain, I believe.
Yeah.
Not sure. So I think it's gonna be pretty close. But if he stays till the end, probably he's gonna fight as hard as he has ever done, you know.
Yeah, Nose is looking quite pacey as well on the back of Simply Superman. Just dips one wheel into the gravel there. Harry Banks, by the way, is on the back of Jorg, and I'm going to cut to this. So he goes all the way around the outside of turn 1. Absolutely brilliant by Harry Banks.
Yep.
Literally called that at the picture perfect moment. Round the outside of turn 1 he goes. Nearly got lifted on the curve as he did it, but Harry Banks is third and he's into second position. And to complete a move like that around the outside, absolutely brilliant stuff by Harry Banks, and that is why he's a championship contender.
Yeah, definitely. Really good move, you know, decisive, you know, because he didn't think about it twice. He just did it clean. Amazing. Although
and Noisy as well. Yeah, Noisy, sorry to cut in. Down the inside of Simply Superman, gets the move done in towards turn 1, and he's turning into 8th.
I was about to point out why haven't the medium runners pit yet, because at this point with 16 laps done, it's gonna get to the point that if they get to the 17th lap on these mediums, basically you've done more laps in the medium than in the hards. So I don't see any point of staying out.
Yeah, I mean, look at Jorg. He's really fighting the car coming out of the chicane. Chris is still going for an extra lap as well on that set of medium compound tyres. But remember, these guys are on fresh mediums. They could have started, of course, on a worn set of mediums, but with the full wet conditions as it was in qualifying, as now Jorg goes around the outside of Harry Banks trying to complete the move. Literally what Harry did move a lap ago. Harry Banks stays in second position. I nearly couldn't get my words out there. Jorg is on the back of Harry Banks. Second and third position they stay. But Jorg had the decency to try and attack him, and it just comes to show when he's in that DRS range, he's got good pace.
Yeah, definitely. And to be fair, if I was Jorg, you know, at this point it seems like the hards are starting to be quicker than the medium. So if I was Jorg, I would just stay behind, you know, and let Harry try and catch Perpetuum, because if there's one guy, you know, that it seems like he could have the pace, it's the Red Bull driver. There's no point of fighting now. I would wait for later in the race and from then try and fight, but every driver has their respective strategy.
Yeah, there's some mad hacks, by the way, going on out on track. I'm just looking at the TAS system. Jorg's tyres are on 46% on that front left. We're on board with them now. The man behind him, Chris, on that front left, 62% on that front left. Chris's tyres are going so bad. The tyre management is poor, I think, from Chris's perspective, and Jorg just seems to be managing those tyres well. And that's why I think he was keeping up with Perpetuum, eventually before he got overtaken by Harry Banks, but that is why he was keeping up with Perpetuum. He had very similar tyre wear to him. I mean, he's only, 7% more than Perpetuum and Harry Banks on a set of hard compounded tyres? Jorg's got a chance to go onto a set of softs, complete an overcut, and actually win this race.
Yeah. I mean, probably they're going to stretch. Who?
He has got a penalty though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. That would be basically the only disadvantage. Yeah, but I don't know why, but it's giving me the impression that they're going to try and stretch it to get the softs on.
Yeah.
At this point.
One stop, I think, for the front five, I would say, is pretty much a possibility. Hazara's there 9 seconds down. He may as well blink first, come into the pit lane a little bit earlier than these guys and try and make those set of soft compound size lasts towards the end of the race. Because his tyres as well, they're more worn than the guys on the set of hards. He's on 50% in terms of the tyres. But crucially, he's going to be fresh towards the end of the race, and he's going to be quite pacey as well. We've seen it with Hazara. I mean, he finished second last time out in Italy. There is a yellow flag in Sector 2, and I'm glancing further down, and it's a topic on a fresh set of hards on his round, coming out of turn number 7. Didn't catch what happened. I can only assume he's lost it on that fresh compounder tyre, and Isotopic is round, he's down in P10 now.
Yeah, with damage in the left template. Really unfortunate. Probably he lost it. I didn't catch it. Yep. But probably he lost it on cold hards.
Yeah, I think he's got caught on the outside curb coming out of turn 8, and he spun the car around. Both wing plates are damaged. 31% on the left, 13% I should say on the front right end plate. And you can see literally no attempt to try and make that corner. And he took the MotoGP layout around here, did Isotopic, but he should be coming back into the pit lane. And hopefully, we're not going to see retirement. Hopefully, and he's into the wall! He's into the pit wall, is this from wing? And that could have ended so badly. That could have been a safety car. But Isotopic, how on earth has he came away with that? That front wheel did go into the pit wall, by the way. I just thought I'd say that. He did go into the pit wall, and I'm very surprised that he's still in this race.
Well, lucky, you know, some would say. And at the moment, the medium runners decide to stay out one more lap. So definitely, I think they're going to try and stretch it to the softs. But to be fair, I wouldn't understand why would they go like from mediums to softs on this track. Maybe I'm completely mistaken, but I don't think that's the optimum strategy, you know. So quite intrigued. Meanwhile, we have Mashiro behind in 6, 4.3 behind Hazara, which is still losing to the guys ahead. It doesn't seem like Mashiro, you know, is gaining on the guys on old mediums and hards. So, as you said earlier, you could be right. They might do the overcut on Mashiro.
17.3 seconds is the gap. I've just checked to Perpetuum. That is currently about a 5-second lead he'll hold over Perpetuum and Harry, who are inevitably going to be onto a set of soft compound tyre. So you would think that the overcut around this track, I saw it certainly in League of Europe on a Saturday night a couple of weeks ago. There is a yellow flag in Sector 1. I think that might be, just trying to have a look. Break FN is round, sorry. Break FN is round, and his right element plate, I think, has gone, if I'm not mistaken. Just trying to look in. And he's made a mistake. He's certainly lost a position. The Break FN now down in 9th position. No damage on the car, I can report. But Chris is crucially in. That tyre, 74% when he came into the pit lane.
Yeah. So, will be interesting to see softs. Yeah, there we go, 12 laps. Yeah, it's gonna be... If he wasn't able, like, to get those mediums like Jorg did, I don't think the softs are gonna be the best tire, you know, to hit. But anyways, I'm not gonna criticize.
He came up behind Mashiro. He's 5.5 seconds behind Mashiro, and that is a big ploy to play now for Chris, because he is going to be catching hand over fist on the back of Mashiro. Mashiro's catching Hazara as well, but I think Chris is going to catch Mashiro before Mashiro catches Hazara, before Hazara comes into the pit lane. I think that's what's probably going to happen. And you can see on that set of soft compound tyres, he's already gained 0.3 of a second just coming out of turn 4 alone. Now through turn 5, and again, gains more time as a result. I have a feeling, though, those tyres are not going to get to the end of the race. I think 12 laps on that set of softs is a real push around here at Spain, and I have a feeling they're not going to make it to the end.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
The dog stays out.
Yeah.
And Harry Banks is into the pit lane. That's interesting.
I don't know.
So he blinks first ahead of behind Perpetuum. He's going to go onto a set of soft compound tyre as well.
Probably because he doesn't want to be undercut by the Ferrari, but I don't know why. I find it useless, to be fair, because the Ferrari, I think he's going to struggle.
Well, actually,
go on.
This is why, because Chris is flying, coming down the straight. He's going to be behind, surely, Harry Banks, running down the straight. There is Chris, there is Harry Banks. It's going to be side by side, running down in towards turn one. Who wants it most? I think it's Chris, round the outside line. Harry Banks still down on the inside line, and Chris brutally gets ahead.
Amazing.
Brilliant stuff. And that is the overspeed, running down the straight. Harry Banks, he reacted wrongly, and he's behind Chris. Chris, of course, with that 3-second penalty, is going to come back to bite him later on in the race, but Chris crucially ahead of Harry Banks. He has now got a chance to win this.
Don't think so. I think his tires. No. I mean,
Harry
his
Banks
tires
was behind Perpetuum by about a second, and Chris is ahead of him. You can't say that.
I can. Look, I've said it. But no, I think that his tires are not gonna make it like that well. I think if someone has a chance, I think it's Harry. But
yeah,
we can see. I think that the two in front have realized they are pitting. I think Perpetuum will be side by side. I think Perpetuum will be side by side with Chris.
I think they're going to be behind both of them. I really do. Hazard's going to stay at an extra lap. He's going to be leading this race. Chris is out of the final corner along with Harry Banks. They could be fighting side by side. This is going to get quite dicey. Perpetuum, by the way, is out of a set of medium compound tyres. He doesn't feel he's going to get to the end of the race on that set of softs. And there is Chris. Chris is behind him, along with Harry Banks. And they're going to fight side by side and towards turn one. Harry doesn't go for the move, though. And crucially, Perpetuum is ahead. York, however, is behind them both. So Perpetuum is ahead on that set of medium compound tyres. He does not feel that tyre wear is going to last towards the end of the race. Has he got an inspired decision by me as Jeff? Maybe in the commentary box? Who knows? Hazard leading the way, Mashiro second, Perpetuum in third. Yeah, the last time somebody listened to me is Jeff. I think I crashed them out the race.
I mean, generally, when we say something, they do the opposite. So, and I do not wonder why.
Chris! Chris
Ferrari!
Really lost it coming out of turn 9, and look at Harry Banks. He's now down the inside line, in towards turn 10. He reacts to that possibility, gets the move done. Chris is just overwearing those tyres. He forced them wide. That might be removed.
Oh,
the 3-second penalty.
Perpetuum
has spun. Perpetuum has spun out of the net lead of the race. This is unbelievable. It's just kicked off 0 to 100. Harry Banks is through. Chris made a mistake. York is into 5th position as well. Perpetuum on that set of mediums has spun. Those fresh set of mediums, clearly not to Perpetuum's liking. He stays out there for now. Chris is on the back of Harry Banks though, still running down towards turn 1. Lap 24 out of 33, Hazara leads. Mashiro is still in the net lead of this race. By the way, as Chris nearly locks him into the back of Harry and shooting that left side end plate damage to the car, it isn't.
Completely madness. I mean, I'm speechless. In the end, it's gonna be Mashiro who takes the win. Watch out for this because honestly, I thought the right strategy was to go mediums, but Perpetuum, bottled it. And right now, Harry is gonna have better pace than Mashiro, but we'll have to see if his tires, hold on.
And look at the gap he's pulling to Chris as well. Chris's tyres, he's got terrible tyre wear. I'm sorry, Chris, if you're going to listen to this later on. He's got very, very bad tyre wear. And we saw it on his first stint. We're seeing it now on his second stint. I mean, his tyres are already at 25% on that front left. There is no chance in hell he is going to make that to the end of the race whatsoever. If he's got 25% worn tyres, and York behind and Harry Banks ahead have got 8 and 16% on that front left.
And I have to say, York has to make the overtake. He's losing a lot of time. I don't know how much pace he has, though, but if he wants to have some chance of podium or whatever, he needs to overtake Chris now.
He does, but I think Chris is going to try and get onto the back of Harry Banks, doesn't get the move done. And yeah, we still wait as we are. Left 25 out of 33. Hazara, by the way, still yet to pace, still in the lead of this race. Mashiro there in second, but now the pack are hunting. It is like the hare and the tortoise, quite literally out on track. Mashiro on 17-lap old hard compound tyres. Harry Banks on 2-lap fresh soft compound tyre. He is closing in on the back of Chris. But that tyre wear, Chris is up to 31%, Harry Banks on 19, Jorg on 12%. That tyre wear, I feared that Chris's tyres. He made that stop, I think, a lap, maybe 2 laps too early. And Chris is paying for that, I think. That front left tyre, if that doesn't go before the end of the race, I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, he's not having the best tire management. I think the ending is going to be exciting. Exciting for many reasons, because we have Chris, you know, who's going to be in one tires. We'll have to wait and see if he's able, you know, to hold on. Then we have Harry Banks, which technically he will be able to make the overtake easier.
Mashiro now.
Oh,
he'll go for it now.
Yeah.
Running down the straight, Mashiro tries to weave that out the toe desperately, and there goes Harry Banks alongside him, past him. There he goes, he's through. And now Jorg is through on Chris as well, down the inside line and towards turn number 1. The Aston Martin through on the Ferrari, and he is through and he's into P3. So 2 moves to digest. Harry Banks is through into the lead of the race, and Jorg is through into P3 as well. Very easy move from them both, I've got to say.
Yeah, definitely. What Mashiro needs to do now that he has lost the position is to basically stick behind Harry. I know Harry is going to probably have... Maybe he's not going to try and risk it, you know. Probably he feels like he has it under control. But I think Mashiro needs to stick with him, keep himself in the DRS range, and try to keep himself ahead of the 3 guys behind.
Simply Superman uses superpowers to go past Break FN, running down in towards turn 1, and is through and is into 8th position. And there's shaking heads now in the commentary booth alongside me.
No, actually, I was saying exactly that. I mean, we're going from bad to worse, you know. There's going to be at some point that viewers are going to just leave us alone, you know, with our dad jokes.
I don't know how we're going to commentate on the PSGL event tomorrow. Mashiro's trying to stay on the back of Harry Banks, but however, Jorg is right on the back of Mashiro now, and I think only one way to go for Mashiro is down the field, and Jorg is through, and he's into P2. It's an inspired decision by Mashiro to go on that sort of hard compound of tyres, but he's going to be fearful, I think. Could he stay ahead of Perpetuum is probably what I'm thinking. I don't think he's going to stay ahead of Chris. Chris's tyres could, however, go towards the end of the race. We're not sure how those tyres are going to go. Mashiro's on 56% on that set of hard compound tyres, by the way. He's been out there 19 laps. Chris is now on his 6th lap on a set of soft compound tyre. He is out 44% on that set of soft compound tyres as well.
I think... Oh my god, I mean, yeah, he's definitely feeling those... that wear, you know, in the tires. But
oh my!
What happened?
Nearly lost it coming out of turn 9.
Yeah. So right now, what I feel is that, as I said with Harry, he needs to be on DRS. But look the time he loses in sector 3. He was 7 tenths behind. He's already 1 second off, and at the exit of this corner, he's gonna be 1.2. I bet you.
He might be 1.2. No, he's about a second off, in fact, coming out the final corner. But he is out of that DRS range. Chris is in that DRS range, but however, he's not going to be close enough unless he's got a jet-propelled supercar underneath him running down in towards turn number 1. Don't think he's going to get the move done. Jorg was within Harry Banks' DRS as well. And yeah, Chris is closing in. I see him getting the move done, but look at Perpetuum in behind. Set of medium compound tyres, he's getting into this now.
It's going to be a 3-way fight, and what I would say is that if Perpetuum is going to do the moves, you know, to do it quickly, because Jorg has a penalty. So if he starts fighting with the 2 guys ahead of him, it's going to lose time. And for Mashiro, the same thing. If he's going to lose positions to Perpetuum... Oh, well, look at that. Never mind. So if I was Mashiro, I wouldn't even fight. You know, if they have faster tires and they're in a better situation, just let them by. No.
Oh, I thought Perpetuum was nearly going to go on the back of Chris. Oh, sorry if I nearly... Oh,
I was
that could have ended terribly for Perpetuum. That could have been a crash into the back of Chris.
Were you on board?
However, for Perpetuum, he stays in P5, but Mashiro's really struggling. Chris and Perpetuum, could it be 3 wide, maybe down towards turn 1 if they're close enough?
No. Well, hold on.
Maybe.
No.
Pepetchem's certainly going to get Chris. Watch this. He is going to get Chris, and Chris is closing in as well. York's closing in on Harry Banks for the lead of the race. But Pepetchem down the inside line in towards turn 1. He gets the car stuck in there, and Chris fights back. Pepetchem on the inside line in towards 3. Shooting the fresh set of mediums are going to come into play. They are, and Chris is forced out wide, and Pepetchem is through, and he's into P4. Really good battle act coming out of turn 3. Good respect shown by both drivers, and Pepetchem, that's why he's the defending champion. He's through, and he's into P4.
And one thing about to comment about Chris' situations is that basically he didn't have ERS. That's why he couldn't catch Mashiro. Probably if he had the ERS, I think both of them could have done a 3 wide on Mashiro. Well, a 3 wide overall, you know, but they could have done the overtaking on Mashiro. But right now we can see, I think that Alpine feels like he wants that P2, and I think he has the pace for it. And hold on, because if he does the overtake quite quickly, you know, on the Williams, why not dreaming about the win?
Yeah, the more that Mashiro holds up Pepetchem, by the way, look at the gap to York. 2.1 seconds now, the gap. York is pulling away. Is there a chance he could get out of that 3-second window, which he still has got, I think, in terms of the penalty? Yeah, he's got 3 seconds worth of penalty. Pepetchem, by the way, is going side by side there, running down the straight, and Chris is catching as well on the back, and he could look for the move down in towards turn 1. Pepetchem, though, is through, and he's into P3. The German through on the Japanese man, and Chris is in behind as well on the Ferrari. But Jorg now has got to fend off, as there was nearly a wide-out moment. Chris was creating his own track limits there, I think, coming through turn 3. So wide. And in terms of his tyre wear, Chris's tyre wear is now worse than Mashiro ahead.
No surprise.
He's not getting to the end, surely.
Surely. Yeah, I think Chris was, you know, suggesting Michael Massey, you know, some new ways of hitting that apex. But anyways, I don't think the Ferrari is going to do the overtake on Mashiro. And Mashiro, I think he could have a tiny chance of getting P2 if Pepetchem gets to York and they start fighting. I think the Williams still has a big chance.
Yeah, Pepetchem is catching. Pepetchem is catching on that set of mediums. Is this inspired by Pepetchem? Could he yet win the race, maybe? I might be wishful thinking with that, but who knows? Lap 31 out of 33, 3 laps to go. Pepetchem sets a new fastest lap of the race as well. Chris, by the way, is on the back of Mashiro. This is for P4 out on track. Flies past him down the straight. Chris is ahead, but puncture territory could come very soon indeed. In fact, he has just entered puncture territory. 70% now on that front left tyre. I think Mashiro's good to get to the end of the race unless that tyre punctures as well. I think everyone else is fine. Harry Banks looks fine. Jorg looks fine as well. And again, Jorg, in terms of his tyre wear, he's 10% less than Harry Banks. 41% compared to 53% now for Harry Banks. Jorg is doing a sterling job with his tyres this race, and he's driven so well.
But also you have to remember that the tire is 1 lap younger, you know, fresher. So that always is a condition, but it's true that it seems like the setup from York respects more the tire than Harry Banks or Chris. And talking about Chris, he just got another penalty, so that's probably P4 lost.
Yes, it is. 9 seconds, in fact, the penalty now for Chris. He's picked up 3 3-second penalties out on track. Jorg, by the way, Pepetchem has got 3 seconds. Thiago's got 3. And Funky Chicken right down the back of the field. Need the KFC, I think, after this one. He's down in P12 at this moment in time. Mashiro, though, on the back of Chris. Penultimate lap of the race has begun here in Spain. And Mashiro on the back of Chris. And Jorg is on the back of Harry Banks. Down towards turn number 1. Cuts the inside line. Tries to get the move done. But not quite. And Pepetchem's still in this as well. Mashiro's there in 4th. Chris is there in 5th position. Mashiro back through on Chris. He's up into 4th position. But Jorg tried it down the inside line, testing the waters maybe, and he still stays in P2 behind Harry Banks. But Harry has got this race to lose. He could lose both positions and still win, basically.
If I was Jorg, I wouldn't do those silly battles, because if they start going side by side, you know, in different corners, you know who's going to get, you know, help from that, right?
Yeah, but to be honest, Jorg, I think, wants pride more than anything else. Having just made a slight mistake, Jorg feels he's got the pace. I think he has got the pace. But on a neutral playing ground, he's got a 3-second penalty. Exactly. Harry Banks needs to pick up a 3-second penalty, basically, for Jorg to try and win this race. It's not really worth fighting, but pride over everything, I think, in Formula 1.
Yeah, but it's gonna be silly because if they fight, you know, and they lose time, I know Mashiro is losing time and time with those tires, but if he starts fighting, then Mashiro can have a chance to catch. But look at that, Perpetuum, I think he's gonna get the overtake. Or maybe
He
not.
might. He's struggling though within the DRS range. Final lap of the race has begun. Harry Banks leads the way, and he will lead the way down and towards turn number 1. Jorg there in second, Perpetuum in third. We're right on board with the Alpine coming through turns 1 and 2. Mashiro in behind as well, with Chris in 5th position. Chris's tyres are on 82% on that front left tyre. It could be a possibility that he might get a puncture towards the end of this race. And if so, he is really struggling. Look at the pace he's dropping off now. That tyre could be slow puncturing as we speak. But Harry Banks, though, leading the way. Final half a lap to go. Harry is controlling this race from the front. This is exactly what he needs to take the championship lead off Tom, who obviously is absent tonight due to illness. Jorg, though, Perpetuum in behind as well. With final half a lap to go. Turn 9 is completed for the final time. And Perpetuum's all on the back of Jorg. Jorg all on the back of Harry Banks. And Perpetuum puts the inside line. Oh, I thought there was going to be contact with Harry Banks. He actually dives it down the inside line, gets the move done on Jorg. Jorg will not be a happy bunny, but he has to try and take avoiding action to Perpetuum is through, and he's into second position. That might have just nicked his position on the podium as well, as Harry Banks now comes out of turn 14, out of turn 15 for the final time, now out of turn 16 at the final corner. Harry Banks is going to be your new championship leader as Perpetuum has spun. He actually lets him back through. Harry Banks has won. Jorg in second, Perpetuum in third. Mashiro's going to come across the line in fourth, but Perpetuum letting Jorg through. Jorg gets P2, Perpetuum P3.
Oof, by 2/10.
Chris in P5 and 2/10 of a second. Yeah, separating the guys. Hazara's going to come across the line to finish in P6. He got a strategy wrong, I think, in terms of that. Noisy across the line to finish in 7th. Simply Superman didn't use his superpowers out on track, I'm afraid. He is still going to come on with a very good score of P8. Break FN is going to finish in P9, and Thiago, of course, is going to finish in P10 as well. Simply Superman, though, out of the final corner to finish across the line in 8th position. Break FN is to come across the line in 9th position. No, that is not a radio station. And by the way, he has got 31 laps on that sort of hard compound tyre, so well done, Break FN, for getting those tyres towards the end of the race. And Thiago now ran the final corner. Disappointing result from him. It's a top 10 finish, and Thiago will be happy as a result of that. He comes across the line to finish in P10. And that's his last for the Spanish Grand Prix. Ttml F1 is complete. Driver of the Day is awarded by the in-game fans. Simply Superman somehow gets superpowers to get Driver of the Day.
Honestly. But yeah, I think really good race overall. I mean, we didn't see that much action maybe, but I think there was a good fight for the win. Just a shame there was penalties because it could have been more exciting without penalties, but GG on Mashiro, I have to say. I think for me he's my driver of the day. And also GG on the podium because they did a really good job.
I've got to disagree with Driver of the Day, I'm afraid. I think Harry Banks deserved Driver of the Day. A fantastic race from his perspective. Stayed in behind Perpetuum. Perpetuum obviously made that mistake. And if Perpetuum didn't make that mistake, what could have it led to? But Harry Banks has picked up the victory. 4.4 seconds in the end over Jorg as a result of the penalties. Might have a look, see if the penalties are going to get removed, possibly by a few. But Harry Banks has won, crucially out on track, and he now takes the championship lead off Tom. Jorg there in second with Perpetuum in third, with Mashiro in fourth. Chris in fifth with Hazara in sixth, Noisy in seventh, Simply Superman in eighth and 14th on the grid. That's probably why he's been awarded Driver of the Day. Break FN in ninth and Thiago ran off the top 10. The Frenchman, not the Portuguese man, Isotopic, Funky Chicken Kill, and down the field, of course, was Kazizzle DNFing out of the race as well. But we have been joined by our race winner, of course, Harry Banks, out on track. And Harry, it wasn't plain sailing from your perspective. Obviously, Perpetuum made a mistake quite late on in that race. Talk us through it.
I feel very sorry for Perpetuum. He kind of had the pace on me on the hard tyres, just a tenth or two a lap. And then he came out on mediums, which was a bit of a surprise. But I thought if he's leading with 5, 6, 7 laps to go, then he probably would have won quite comfortably. So yeah, quite unlucky for him, but thankfully I was there to pick up the pieces, I suppose.
Yeah, right place at the right time, I think. Pretty fortuitous, I think, obviously, with that spin. Were you surprised, by the way, when he did come out on that set of medium compound tyres? Were you fully expecting him to go on that set of softs?
Yeah, definitely, because I saw the Ferrari pit a lap before me, which I thought was a little bit early, but I was going to go one lap longer, and I thought I don't want to really lose track position, so I pitted because I thought if I didn't pit, the Aston Martin would pit behind me. So it was definitely all about track position. I suppose for him, he had quite comfortable track position because he pulled his gap up to a couple of seconds. But yeah, it was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, and provisionally, of course, you have now taken the championship lead, and that must feel a very good feeling as well.
Yeah, it's quite. I mean, it doesn't really matter on round 3 as much as it does on the final round. But yeah, I mean, I think it's 3 podiums from 3. So I think if I can be consistently near the front or around the podium, then hopefully by the final round I'll be there or thereabouts. That's definitely the aim.
Yeah, you've certainly got the pace to try and achieve a lot, I think, here in TTML F1 this season. Paco, any questions for Harry?
Well, basically just the question we all generally have, about the next track, which, if I'm not mistaken, would be Austria, right? Yeah, it's Austria. So, basically ask you, how good are you on Austria? Do you think you can repeat the result from today? And what are your hopes towards the championship? Because with this win, you have you have gotten plenty of points compared to your rivals.
I do quite like Austria. I definitely do enjoy it. Haven't done it on this game too much, but I definitely enjoyed it on the previous one. Probably be a little bit like tonight, maybe. If I can keep sort of penalty free, then there's usually positions that will sort of come to you on the final checkered flag. And yeah, the championship, I think this early in the season, I'm not really too bothered about the points gap or between myself and the cars behind, or if I lose championship lead. I'm sure if I'm near the front with 3-4 ways to go, then you start to play it a little bit more cautious. But it's probably a bit early to start thinking about the championship, really. Just try and do each race as best you can, I suppose.
Yeah. That would be my questions, basically.
Yeah, and that is all for me, because Paco did steal my final question there. Go on and enjoy your evening, though, Harry.
Thank you, guys. Cheers.
Very welcome indeed. And I don't believe we have anyone else in the party with us.
Nope.
We haven't, so we might just be hearing from Harry Banks, but a big thank you, of course, for him joining the commentary box here tonight. And I think if nobody else is going to join us, that is the end of that. TTML F1 is complete for another night. Of course, more action to come on League Racing TV this week and indeed this weekend. TTML F4, sadly, not going to be here tomorrow night because I've got a more important thing to do, which I'll come on to in just a second. It is going to be James Boyle, though, taking you through the commentary for Division 4. And then I'll be back the following week to take you through the race on the 17th of September. I believe that is... somebody remind me, Austria next week. So I'll be back for Austria next week, which will be fantastic. I had to think about that, by the way.
But I just said it.
Yeah, Buck and Pariah are going to take you through the course for TTML F5 as well. BNL, of course, going to be taking place on a Saturday evening as well. And hopefully we're going to see some really good action throughout the weekend. And, of course, the TTML Sim League happening on Sunday as well. So you can tune in for all of the action that is going to be holding up, of course, out on track. BNL League 1 and League 3 on at 7 p.m. Central Eastern Time. That's around Italy. Sunday, of course, League 2, 8 p.m. Central Eastern Time around Italy. And then TTML Sim League at 8 p.m. BST, UK time. And for a final little self-promotion for the three of us, we're doing the PSGL and VRT Esports Cup event tomorrow night. It's only the qualifying night, but if you do want to tune in for that, of course you can. 8 p.m. UK time. It is the same time as TTML F4, so you can maybe have a double stream going with either one of our two leagues and tuning in, of course, for us doing the bits in PSGL. But, Paco, I'm going to come across to you. Your drive of the day is?
I said it already. Mashiro. I think the reason why I don't say Harry is basically because I think he didn't have the pace at all to be where he was. I think he was quite clever by starting on softs, because I think he did it with the intention, that if a BSC or something came up, to go hard until the end. And I think that was quite clever because I think he knew he didn't have the pace to fight for the podium. But despite that, he did it. And starting 7th, it was a quite difficult strategy to code. So for me, driver of the day.
Yeah, Mashiro did well, I think. That sort of hard compounded ties, especially late on, I think, just let him down, I think. And that's why I'm giving my drive of the day, certainly, to Harry Banks. He drove very well on that second half of the stint. I believe he had the pace. Jorg was quicker than him, but I believe Harry had the pace to try and win this race, and that's exactly what he did, of course, out on track. That is the end, then, of TTML F1. More action to come, of course, tomorrow night for TTML F4 and F5. But we really hope you've enjoyed all the action that we have unfolded, of course, here tonight in TTML F1. And I've been James Head.
And I've been Paco Suarez.
I thought he wasn't going to do it there.
Nah.
Take care of yourselves and we'll see you next time. Goodbye. Oh.
Nah, yeah, just let us silence, for the drama.
Apparently something has happened in TTML, not TTML F1, PSGL F1 PC League tonight. Apparently something about the server.
Yeah, there was this thing with the times and everything, so what is that?
Hopefully we don't get that tomorrow.
Hopefully. With this game, you never know. I mean, I think this is the worst game in terms of glitches and errors that Codemaster has ever done.
Yeah, it might be connection issues, to be honest. Some people are reporting connection issues.
Don't think so. I mean, could be connection, but I don't think it's their problem. Like, I think it must be the game server or something, but...
Yeah, I think it must have been the game server.
Poor George. To be fair, poor George. And Jack as well.
Poor Jack as well, yeah. Because they've got to commentate to 3,500 people, basically.
Yeah.
And if the servers aren't doing justice to the game, then their good commentary can't be rescinded. That can't be just, It's such a shame, but hopefully PSGL PC's loss is our gain tomorrow. That's a bad thing to say, but you never know. And still, three lineups have not been sent in as well, which is fantastic.
We'll have to wait and see until tomorrow. Anyways, I think this was a decent warm up. I mean, I still have to get something sorted out. But yeah, although if tomorrow it's only gonna be qualifying, like, I think the way to approach it, right? It's more of a, like, if it was like a free practice, you know what I mean? But when there's like a key moment, like, obviously get focused on it. But for example, if there's like 15 minutes remaining, maybe don't go too sweaty, like commentating. Like if it was the last 2 minutes, you know what I mean? Like, take it easy, like make it that the spectator, feels, I don't know, like they can participate and stuff. And then in the last 2 or 3 minutes, I would go.
Yeah, what I was gonna say, I know Tom didn't hear this earlier on, but what I'm planning on doing in between the little breaks that we've got, we might have like graphics and everything to run with it as well. But what I'm planning on doing is looking at the comment section between that break, and also using the hashtag PSGLXVRT on Twitter, and to see if there's any comments that are coming through and tweets that are coming through, and then read the best ones out. Just fills the void, I think, fills the time, because we'll have roughly about 10 minutes maybe
probably
between the end of the lobby and then the start of the next one.
Probably
it's 8 p.m. apparently. The first one it gets going at 8 p.m. dead on.
8:30 and then 9. Yeah, it's every half an hour.
Yeah, short qualifying lasts 18 minutes. So I'm thinking if there's about 2 or 3 minute overload or overrun, it should be about 20 past 8 our time, and then there's about a 10-minute gap between that one ending and then that starting, so we can talk about, well, anything. No puns though tomorrow.
No. We were gonna be like we've always. No, James, no.
There's no funky chicken tomorrow, so I can't say KFC joke.
No, but there's no one and nobody who's gonna change our way of being. Doesn't matter where we do comes. there will be bad puns. Although, yeah, maybe not overuse it, you know.
I'm just fearful of the pronunciations. I think I've got quite a few of them written, noted down, and I know how to pronounce them. But it's FVR's driver 1 that I cannot understand what his name is. I just cannot understand.
I'm just telling you, James, don't be panicked about pronunciations with the names.
Yeah, but... and I've also prepared a little bit on the inevitable Jono Opmir. Where is he? And everything like that. I've inevitably prepared something like that as well.
Because basically, like, look at me, or people who are not in the natural language, you know. I know most of them don't get, like, to comment on top events, I know, but, you know, or this guy, the one who used to commentate F2, you know who I mean, the Italian one, Bassetti, what was he called?
Davide Bassetti, Valsecchi, yeah.
Yeah, his pronunciation was not like, you know, Cambridge, you know, he would do like, look at that, you know what, an overtake, you know? What matters is that you basically commentated with a feel, like you engage with the feeling of the spectator, you know, and then in the end you do it well. Like, don't get like, don't overthink about how you're gonna pronounce the names. Try your best, of course, but no one is gonna get offended because you don't get them right, or because, look at me, I commented with you, most of the things, more or less I say them right, but there are some that I don't, and I don't get, you know, too stuck on that. Just think it that way.
Yeah.
Did you see my tweet? The one I sent you?
I did see your tweet. I did see your tweet. That's terrible. So true, but it's terrible. The Jenga piece is gonna fall on that girl.
No, it's but yeah, anyways, I'm going off to play some Monopoly. So.
What a way to prepare for PSGL tomorrow.
No, I mean, I'll prepare it tomorrow. Probably I'll be doing things about it, you know, the whole day, getting some facts, you know, checked, and practicing some things. But yeah, until tomorrow, I don't want to stress too much on that, you know.
I'm not stressing. I'm really excited for it, but I'm gonna bugger it up. I know I am. It's nerve-wracking, but I'm excited.
Yeah, understandable. Yeah. Don't worry. If I can, I will send you another donation, but this time directly to you, Tom. So,
Tom.
Yeah.
Not to me. He doesn't want to send a direct donation to me. Terrible.
No, because you know, what do you do, James? What do you do, James? You just say words, and that's it.
You say words as well.
Yeah. But no one pays me for it.
Might have to speak to Maze with that one.
Yeah. To be fair, I think top people like you, like and Andy Campbell, then in PSL probably they actually get some money. I wouldn't be surprised. Like George or like Jack, I think those guys, you included, deserve at least, you know, a small payment, you know, as a sort of compensation, because your way it actually sounds professional, you know.
Yeah, George was part of CRG.
Yeah.
Part of Comrade, and I think they were paid roles that he was in, and I think he's taken the decision to leave because I think he's been given a better offer by another team, is what I've heard.
But I still don't get why other teams would pay others for commentators. I mean, for example, basically we could say that TTG started like this trending, you know, of commentators like belonging, you know, to a certain team, because at the start it was you and Andy. Basically, you had like TTG on your names, you know, and if you think of TTG, you would associate you and Andy, and basically Kieran at the start as well. And then now there's this, for me, it's stupid trend, because I don't know why it's useful, of having like commentators for teams. You know, Jack for CRG, George. Then in Shathu, they also like had some commentators in it. Now, Jake have signed for you, for TTG. So I don't see what's the point, unless it's for like private events or certain events from the team. I don't see why you would have a commentator like representing your team.
I've just realised Jake's the head of commentary for PSGL. I've just realised.
Yeah. Well, not only that, but he's also the league director. But yeah, his main function is a commentary team, which I'm grateful to him because he gave me the chance to join PSGL. Although in this season he made a small mistake, and I couldn't do comps because he put me on Mondays, but I was placed on Mondays.
Yeah.
So when it was too late to change me to Sundays because there were already people doing Sundays. So
Mondays I drive in the league, and I could easily drop. It's league route F2, so I could easily drop that and just say, "Oh, I'm going to do PSGL commentary. I'll see you guys later," sort of thing. Or I could do Tuesday and drop the current commentary that I've got on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I do want to do PSGL moving forward. It's an absolute goal of mine to do it.
To be fair, although, do you like Jessica James?
Not as in lover. Or
No, I mean in commentary, you idiot.
I'm a bit like 70-30. I think she's a great commentator, but she's more of a co-commentator than a main commentator. And I think the only reason why she's got to where she has is probably because of the support around her and because she's a woman.
Exactly. That's basically everyone. I mean,
you're not singing, by the way, are you? And that's just being recorded on your
no. I cut the. No, but taking a look at it, there's many people behind it.